Alrighty, let's have a look. Okay, this is Jack from Chartered Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Thursday, the 5th of February. My disclaimer, I did this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com. It's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, we are seeing more weakness here. Yesterday's bullish day did not work out. Now, I would say that we've got an almost 2 week window where historically we don't have any bearish leading days. Some of them are only like 57% bullish, but I think until Wednesday in 2 weeks, we've got bullish leading stats pretty much every day, and these tend to deliver pretty well. But obviously, they can be overridden by news and bigger movements happening, and it may be that what we're seeing here. One thing I would note to you on this chart immediately is that they've got a very nice looking double top here on ES, and that we've got support for that in about the 68.15 area, and if we break down from that, we would have a target down about the 6600 area. Now, I'm not saying that we're necessarily going to make that target, but I'm just saying that we're close enough that I'm wondering about it. Short term, this may be a double bottom. We may be about to make a low. We don't have much in the way of buy signals here. We've got a possible 6-minute buy signal brewing on NQ with a nice looking little short term double bottom here too. On RTY, without going a little lower, YM has barely moved from the high. This is not really participating in the decline so far. DAX, potential, got an oversized double bottom here. I haven't actually drawn it in because it went beyond the 61.8, which is kind of my comfort level with double bottoms. It's but at the moment we are just trading sideways in a range. ESTX, we've got a potential double top here. We're not close to breaking down from it, but we will see. And Nikkei, we had a nice looking triangle. It broke up. It made the target at the retest of the all-time high. So that is played out. We got a potential overall double top here too, not showing any signs of breaking down. So I'm not personally. I'm thinking that we may well see a crash in the next year or two. By historical standards, yes, past nosebleed levels a while ago. The AI bubble looks like a bubble, and it's not a bubble everyone's unaware of either. Everyone pretty much can see it's a bubble, including, I suspect, most of the participants. So, but bubbles tend to have a life of their own, and it's hard to call when they'll fail. I'm not seeing a lot of room for fundamental optimism on equities here. I think chances are we're going to be seeing modest equity gains over the next decade. And historically, that would be the case. But the question is it going to crash now? Or are we going to see a larger decline now? Not seeing a lot of signs of that, but we do certainly have some patterns. I'll talk more about those on the bigger picture charts. So let's have a look at those. All right. Looking at SPX. SPX on the weekly chart. This is possible. If we get down to 65.21, we could form a larger pattern there. We've got a nice looking double top there, which could get us down to that kind of area. Is this a decent topping pattern? Yeah, it is. It's not a huge topping pattern to get us down into the 6,000 area, but certainly in terms of a topping pattern here that could get us down into the 65.50 area, then yeah. We've got a pretty decent pattern here. In terms of the short-term hourly no buy signal, we've got an hourly RSI 5 buy signal fixed. An RSI 14 would be more definitive. In terms of the 15-minute charts, no divergence. Right, looking at NDX. NDX, do we have a nice looking double top here? Yeah, we do. We didn't quite reach the retest of the high on NDX, and I'd still quite like to reach it, but it may be that we're not going to see it. Would we have a nice looking double top here? Yes, we would. Although, because it didn't quite retest the high, there would be an increased chance that this might actually be a bull flag forming. But of course, there's always a danger of that with any double top. When it breaks down, it always has the option of rejecting back up into the high. So do we have a nice looking topping pattern on NDX? Yes. It is quite a lot bigger than the one on SPX. This one, actually, this is the main pattern here. We don't really have a decent pattern for the short-term move since November, but in terms of a pattern from the April low that could take us back into a 50% retracement of that move, yeah, we got one. and it would be a very nice setup to deliver that. Could we see that? Could we see that as part of a topping process? Yeah, we could. In terms of the Qs, the same. So in terms of the November, from the October high, yeah, we got a nice looking double top there. It's good. We will see. In terms of the hourly chart, we've got an RSI 5 buy signal fixed there too. 15-minute chart, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed. And I have to say, I'm still quite liking the setup for a rally here, but we will have to see. Now, in terms of Dow, we don't have any topping set up for the move up from the April low. We had one, and then we moved beyond it. We do have a nice looking rising wedge. That rising wedge has not yet broken down, but maybe about to. We've got a little level top here, but it's only really for the move up from the December low. So no, November low. So this could get us a bit of the way back, and then we've got a possible big head and shoulder neckline at about the 456 area. Could this be enough? Potentially, yeah. It doesn't look quite cooked, but potentially. Nothing on the hourly charts, nothing on the 15-minute charts. All right, let's have a look at the IWM chart. Okay, IWM, we've got on the bigger picture. Do we have a double top here? No. We again have gone beyond that. When we had a decent looking one, but we lost that in the last few weeks. Do we have possible head and shoulder necklines? Yes. Do we have a short-term topping pattern at all? No, and this looks like a bull flag forming. But we will see. We do have an hourly RSI 14 buy signal fixed. Nothing on the 15-minute. But we've got a potential double bottom here, which kind of fits with the overall bull flag narrative. In terms of DAX, possible topping action, yes. Short-term double top, no. I was leaning towards seeing a retest of the high before we got that. Nikkei, we've already seen the retest of the high, so we've got a nice looking double top there. So overall, in terms of the topping patterns here, it doesn't look complete, and it's not as nice as two of the setups we've had in the last year. The one we had in February, and I think the one we had in about, well, what was this high here? In October. Those two were both pretty nice. This is not as nice. Doesn't this mean it has to get any nicer? Sometimes these things get overridden by news, or the obvious utter incompetence of the cosplaying administration, or, whatever reasons, a loss of confidence. And to be honest, we are starting to see much more awareness that what we're doing, what's happening on AI here, may actually be a very bad thing. Not because it might work, which actually wouldn't be that great on their stated plans, but because it may be 10 years away at minimum from delivering what they're expecting it to deliver in a couple of years. And if it doesn't deliver in a couple of years, then they're spending vast amounts of money on capex that may actually just lose a huge amount of money for the current stars and darlings of the stock market, which may therefore be wildly overvalued. When you're taking the view that, for instance, Nvidia has almost the same market capitalization as the entire UK stock market or Germany, then of course that is just a thought of how immensely overvalued all these companies are looking. That's to get away from. That's even beyond Tesla. The world's richest man owns a company which is probably worth, realistically, almost nothing. So at least Nvidia actually produces something useful. So, but we will see how that goes. But could we go lower here? Yes, but we'd be flying in the face of the historical stats. And generally speaking, those tend to perform pretty well. So we will see how it goes. All right, looking at DX. DX, the rally is continuing. We're no longer looking like a little double top here, and IHS has broken up with a target in the 98.96 area. There is a case of getting back into the last high in the 100 area, even if we're going down afterwards. In terms of the currency pairs, USD still looks like a bull flag. GBP could easily be a bull flag. USD JPY has gone too high to be a bear flag, but we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed. USD CAD, possible double top forming, hasn't made a higher high on the second swing, could be a bull flag as well. Could be a bull flag on Australian dollar, could be a bull flag on NZ. So I'm seeing a lot of potential bull flags here. So we will see, because if those play out, most of those bull flags would suggest that the dollar's about to see some downside. We have got a 60-minute sell signal fixed, but I've been wondering if we're going to lose it. HCB, we are still just bouncing around in a relatively narrow range, waiting to decide whether it's going to play out these large patterns which are pointing very much down on bonds. 60-minute buy signal is reaching target on ZB, on ZN. 60-minute buy signal already reached the possible near miss target. This looks like a bear flag forming. In terms of CL, CL, wondering if we might be forming a triangle, but I think it's a little early to say. But at the moment, turning back down again after a decent rally into a lower high. HO, wondering about a triangle too. RBOB, I'm wondering about a double top. We've got quite a nice one here. This has been the strongest and has actually gone back and retested this high. We may get a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing as soon as we retest this high here, if that happens. NG, this still looks like a bear flag forming. GC, bear flag looks as though it is breaking down. SI has broken down and almost made it to the retest of the low, because I was really seeing bear flags across the board here. We're seeing those in varying degrees of completion. I haven't marked in the double top here, but this has got a target pretty close to a retest of the low as well. Platinum, we've got a head and shoulders here. I haven't marked that in either, but the target is lower and getting, of course, pretty close to a retest of the low. I am thinking that either we're going to form bigger flags here with another wave up, or we're going to come back and retest the lows and set up potential double bottoms. HG, we have now failed. I drew this line across to show where the right shoulder low was on the inverted head and shoulders, and the inverted head and shoulders has failed. So I'm just gonna mark that in. That looks like that's kind of bear flag really, because that's actually suggesting. Sorry, those are bear flags on the precious metals, of course, but these are all suggesting a retest of the low. This failure of the head and shoulders is also, the inverted head and shoulders is also suggesting a retest of the low. So I'm looking for that. Might form a couple of double bottoms there, may continue lower. KC is continuing lower at the moment. We've still got some positive divergence, but honestly, I'm thinking this may just be a break lower. We will see. On SB, I'm still expecting to see a retest this low here at about the 14.03 area. On CC, possible double bottom here, showing no current signs breaking up. CT is continuing lower at the moment. We've got quite a nice looking nested double bottom set up here, but showing no signs of delivering. On lumber, we are still trading sideways, and we've got a possible. Well, we've got a double bottom which is broken up here with the target in the 643.25 to 646.5 range. That's showing no signs of delivering. Bigger picture setup looks bearish, and we may just be slipping back into that. ZW, still trading sideways, wondering if some kind of bear flag is forming. On corn, definitely looks like a bear flag forming. On soy, we finally made the double bottom target in the 1104 area. This bear flag broke down but didn't deliver. It was the double bottom setup after all. In terms of a signal here, it looks as though we've got a possible sell signal brewing, but actually the second high hasn't retested the first one, so there's no divergence there at the moment. On ZL, we have gone higher in the double bottom. The double top failed, and possible topping action, but no particular reason to think that there is any yet. Again, looks like a sell signal is fixed here, but there's no signal because there was no retest. Lumber is trickling higher. Lean hogs is trickling higher and actually got beyond my channel resistance, which is suggesting that we might actually see it break up from the channel. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at questions. How low will the metals go? Well, they could go. I'll have a look at that on Sunday and think about where that could go as I'm doing the charts of the weekend. But they could go significantly lower. So I mean, this could be it. A very short shock of a downturn. But I'm thinking that we could definitely have a consolidation the last couple of months. Could be a triangle and not go lower. But if it's a flag, then it might well go lower. Maybe gold gets down to 4,000 or something. I don't think there's talk of a crash in metals, and is the metals bull market over? Personally, I'm doubtful. I think there's more to go, because I think the dollar and bonds have a lot lower to go on both of them. It's just actually a matter of time. So I think as and when, I'm thinking we'll see a consolidation until the next crisis. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning.